All right, it's early. We got all these plants moved into place last night. I'm pretty happy with where they are, so I'm going to go ahead and dripper them. I'm going to use these, I'm going to puncture these into the dripper line. I really like these drippers. You get a bunch of them on Amazon for pretty cheap. I think 100 for like $10 or something like that. There's something kind of cheap like that. I'll put links in the description. But what I like about these, as opposed to just regular dripper hose, is you can adjust the flow. And since we have a lot of mixed trees here, I need to adjust the flow since I'm going to set them all up on the same system. I also have my secret weapon here, which is my wife's heating mug. And using heated water really helps push all these things together, especially when it's cold. So this has temperature regulation. So I've got it set to its highest temperature, 145 degrees. And let's give some of these a shot. I'll demonstrate. Swish this around in hot water for a few seconds. Simply take this, it slides right on. It's way easier to do with hot water. Do that again. Boom. So I'm going to make a whole bunch of these, and then I'll start putting them on. None of this is on drippers yet. I started getting the drippers put in slowly during the mornings before work, and I've been trying to figure out how we can get it on drippers before we go. I think I found a solution. I'm going to hook up to a pipe that's pressurized here that was for a future hose bib. This is something the landlord put in a long time ago and never tapped into, but I verified there's water there. I can't run a clock out here. I'm kind of remote to run a traditional wall timer. So for now, found one of these. Hopefully it works well. It is a Wi-Fi connected remote timer that connects to your phone. Hopefully that works well. So I'm going to install a hose bib in this. So let's get going. Cast iron, see how much it rusts? Yeah, I hate that. So instead of traditional hose bib, I wanted to go with a brass quarter turn valve. The reason is I just hate having to constantly screw and unscrew where this is just a quick turn. Yes, I know they make quarter turn hose bibs, but when you actually look at them, they have like the narrowest restriction in the center because there's such a small ball valve in them. So the traditional unscrew valve was much bigger, maybe 50% bigger than the quarter turn bib version. So I was like, no, let's do something different. If you go with a big ball valve like this, you can get full unrestricted flow. So that's what I went with. Probably a little overkill for this right now, but in the future when we hook up a hose and we want to go, the property line still a ways that way, we'll have maximum pressure. Let's add some tape. And this tape I found I like better than the traditional white tape. It's the fast tape. It's I think it's like 3 times thicker, but it seems to do a better job in my opinion. I think I'm gonna decide to turn this down so it doesn't get in the way of the stem coming off the top. So let's put this on. Make sure you don't cross thread. Okay. Feels about right. Yes, I would have preferred to do this all out of brass, but they didn't have this fitted. They had it in galvanized, but I hate galvanized. So while I've got it off, I'll put this on so I don't stress out any of this. You don't want to over tighten it because you can break these. You can get on this like a wrench. So that feels about right. Okay, so the water is on. I don't really see any leaks. There's a little bit of water, but I think that's from the water that was around it. So we're just gonna check that later. Let's connect a hose and okay, here we go. Yeah, look at that. So that's great. We're now going to connect this. Okay, I need to get some batteries. And I also need to pair this. This is an interesting little device. So this is going to go in the building down there, and this is going to live here. I need 2 AA batteries first. All right, so I took it inside, I got it paired. I wanted to pair it next to the hub that plugs into the wall, and it's probably about 50 feet away on the inside of that garage because you want to keep the hub inside, and there's a Wi-Fi hotspot inside the garage there too, so it connected perfectly. It did do a firmware update which took about 4 minutes, so I like to always do that stuff kind of when you set up the pairing at the first time right next to the devices so there's no errors, and it seems to always work better that way. So got it all set up there, and unfortunately I didn't video it because I needed my phone to do it. Required 2 AA batteries, everything paired perfectly and came up, and now I just need to set a program. So the plan is to come off of this so I could put this tap closer to the hoses that run off the garden. And this is also, it's kind of cool, I found this on Amazon, and it has, you can shut these off. I want to connect this here. And all this stuff, if your seals are good, they should all just be hand tightened. That looks good. Probably just gonna leave that in there, but something that I did want to point out is that for this drip system stuff, you really want to get, they do sell these things where you can connect them directly to your hose, but I found that because of the pressure and the variation in it, it causes your drippers, it causes lines to blow out. So I always recommend these, which are pressure compensating. They drop the pressure from whatever it is to 25 psi, which is a lot lower and is enough to make sure that nothing blows up on you. These will also just be hand tightened. Okay, so now that I have my pressure regulators attached, I'm going to give myself a bit of a service loop. Let's see how we do. I'm going to keep it in there just so it doesn't flail around when it starts and stops. I'm going to turn this one off. This one's on. Let's try a test. Well, I seem to have some sort of leak, so I'm going to try taking that off and screwing it back on. Oh, so bummer. So these aren't the hose thread fittings. These are these fittings, and that's where the problem is. So go back to Home Depot and get a couple of these that are the right fittings. Bummer. Now that we are back from Home Depot, there we go. That fits better. Those are on there. And we're going to cut this off here. And I cut it in a way that I could, if you slice these, you can get them out if you want. A little hard to get started, but got that in. I like them to go on at least ½ inch to 3/4. Okay. Okay, those should all be secure. Let's see if I can manually turn it on. So far, so good. Turn the valve on. There's pressure here, so let's turn on one of these zones. Okay. Okay, it's not leaking. Let's turn on the second one. Alright, looks like everything's working. So now you go through manually and adjust all of the drippers for whatever flow you want. So these have a little screw head on them, and you open them up to put more water in the plant and close them to put less. So I'm going to go through and look at all these and make sure they're all dripping right. Everything seems to be good. One note is that at the end of the dripper lines where I had the 3 that just ended, I connected them all in a T, because there's 3 mains that run out here, just to help boost pressure on the other side, because with the regulators in here, it does drop the pressure enough that towards the end of the line, there isn't enough pressure. And I can probably get an adjustable regulator and fix that, but I'm just out of time before our trip. So this will just have to work for now, and I'll fix it later when I put in all the other valves. So thanks for watching. Add some tape.